watching Channel 6, WDSU TV, New Orleans. And this is Channel 6 News at 5.
The daring balloonists have to abandon their adventurous dream once again, making a splash landing off of Hawaii. A 5-alarm blaze leaves a family without a home on Christmas. And what fire officials call a dangerous practice claims a man's life. Good evening and Merry Christmas. Michael has the night off, but it has started out as a gloomy Christmas for one family after a house fire claimed the life of one man last night. Shortly before 10 o'clock, firefighters arrived at this house in the 2400 block of Gravier. It was engulfed in flames and too late to save Willie Joe Wales. Fire investigators say Wales was using an extension cord to get electricity from a neighbor's home. His door slammed on the cord, igniting his porch. The fire department says sharing power is a dangerous practice.
Electrical wires are basically for temporary use. You don't want to put them under rugs where you're going to walk on. Once you break the insulation down, the wires become exposed within, and they'll touch one another. You'll have contact, and you'll have an electrical fire.
And a 5-alarm blaze left a woman and her 5 children homeless this morning. Fire officials believe the blaze started in 2 vacant houses around 7:30 last night on the corner of Columbus and Galvez. The fire spread to several other homes in the area, including a home where the woman and her 5 children lived. The house received extensive water and smoke damage. Investigators are still trying to determine how it all started. The 3 balloonists who were trying to make it around the globe had to abandon their mission. They made a splash landing near Honolulu just about 2 hours ago. Amanda Cabell tells us what went wrong.
Just about to bring to an end this attempt to circumnavigate the globe in the ICO Global balloon. I'm afraid the weather has beaten us.
Finally, nature proved too powerful, even for this floating marvel of cutting-edge technology and the years of combined experience of those aboard and the control team on the ground. For the last 24 hours, the pilots have tried to maneuver up and down to find a faster wind and outrun the low-pressure system, but they failed.
We have to land the balloon. We can't get out of the Pacific with this trough of low pressure. Everybody's very deflated, but now focusing on the job at hand, which is to make sure we get the pilots back in one piece.
After 7 days in the air and half of their mammoth journey already behind them, there is disappointment all round.
Dreadfully disappointed. Dreadfully.
But already the team is looking ahead to its next immediate challenge, to land the balloon on the Hawaiian coast, probably in Honolulu, within the next few hours before the sun rises there.
We will aim for a shallow sea or beach landing. That's the plan. It may change as we go along. We need to land close to dawn before the balloon gets too hot. So there's a lot of variables in there.
The operations team says at the moment the landing is being treated as non-emergency, but point out that landing this 83 meters high balloon is a lot more difficult than bringing down an ordinary plane.
These balloons are very difficult to land. It's not just an ordinary aircraft landing. As you touch down, you press a button, explosive bolt releases the envelope.
There won't be a world record this time for Richard Branson and his teammates, but with 12 previous attempts between them, perhaps 13 will be their lucky number. Amanda Kibble, CNN, London.
The men were rescued by Coast Guard helicopters. They're being checked out at a hospital in Hawaii. Orleans Parish Sheriff Charles Spotty and his volunteers are at it again, playing Santa Claus, and this year they went a step further. Sheriff Spotty brought carolers to brighten the day, along with his usual meals and presents. Spotty calls this Project Good Cheer. Each family received a Christmas goodie bag and, of course, some good cheer. In addition to Spotty and staff, others were working this Christmas Day, doing jobs you may not think about. Everyone from DJs at various radio stations to the lucky dog man in the French Quarter. Plus, nurses at University Hospital taking care of the newborns. How cute. One nurse says this is their home away from home on Christmas Day.
I enjoy working with them on Christmas Day. You know, I was pulled from another unit. Nursery is not my job, but I've come to enjoy it since I've been working with them.
Other people we talk with are always on call, such as NOPD and EMS workers. They say they don't mind working Christmas Day because they're helping someone. And Christmas has come to Bethlehem, where it all began. But it's also where peace and joy are often punctured by West Bank violence. Martin Fletcher has more.
The eyes of the world were on Bethlehem at Christmas Mass and its message of peace and goodwill to all mankind. Celebrations, singing, prayers, all of Christmas is here, except one thing, peace. In his midnight Mass address, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem spoke of Palestinian disillusionment, that 5 years of peacemaking with Israel had not brought peace. As choirs from around the world sang Christmas carols in Manger Square, everyone noticed the same thing, the lack of tourists. Many have been scared away by the violence of the past months here and by America's bombing of Iraq. But those that came could not understand why others would not come.
I think a lot of people should come over here and see that it is a safety place. You can stay and you can be and you can move without fear or without any kind of feeling of danger.
Next year, Bethlehem expects 1 million visitors to celebrate the millennium. And this year's Christmas wish is that by then, this troubled region will become a land of peace. Martin Fletcher, NBC News, Bethlehem.
An entire group of babies is bringing joy to their parents today. The father of the octuplet says he's stunned beyond belief, but he's also concerned about their survival and their future. Pat Dawson has that story.
It's still touch and go for the infants, but the father of the only living octuplets finally emerged, and he sounded elated.
What do I think? Glory be to God. Glory be to God. He's perfect.
The first baby was born at Houston's St. Luke's Hospital December 8th. Then 4 days ago, Nikem Udobi gave birth to the other 7 infants in this intensive care ward. Doctors say the infants will all be in critical condition for weeks, but they're doing better than expected.
I'm very optimistic about the 7 babies, excluding the small baby, and sort of guardedly optimistic about her.
The oldest, a baby girl small enough to fit in the palm of a hand, was born 15 weeks premature. The others, 13 weeks premature. At birth, the combined weight of the 8 babies was barely 10 pounds.
It's a miracle, and we decided to glorify God for the good lessons.
Since the news broke, people from across the country have pledged money and sent donations, everything from tires and internet access to more traditional gifts.
We're talking about 1,000 diapers a week.
Doctors say most of the babies are doing so well, they plan to try taking them off ventilators today. A wonderful Christmas present for their parents. Pat Dawson, NBC News.
Well, we've had perfect Christmas weather, a little chilly. Dan Milham is in the Weather Center with our first look at the forecast. Dan?
Also a little wet in some places at some times today, Melanie. Here's a look at that rain live on Super Doppler 6000. It is moving eastward, and I do think that by tomorrow the sun will return. Details of your weekend forecast in a few moments.
All right, thanks, Dan. Also ahead, it's not the Rudolph you expect to hear about today, but federal agents hope the change of seasons will bring fugitive Eric Rudolph to the surface. Plus, an update on the murder case of JonBenet Ramsey, a slow-going investigation that began 2 years ago this week.
You're watching Channel 6 News at 5 with Michael Marsh and Melanie Sanders. AMS meteorologist Dan Milham with weather, Ro Brown with sports, and Stephanie Boswell with 6 on your side.
Wondering how to spend your Christmas weekend? On the next Entertainment Tonight, see all the stars in their latest movies as E.T. brings you a Christmas preview of the holiday's hottest hits. Then, find out what it's like to spend the season with a music superstar. From his personalized Christmas tree to a warm and cozy fireplace, E.T. takes you to a celebrity winter wonderland. And see what develops behind the scenes of a sexy photo shoot on E.T.
Tonight at 6:30, only on Channel 6. Deep Roots from Barks, Walgreens, and Louisiana's first, Channel 6.
This holiday season, federal agents are still in search of fugitive Eric Rudolph. He's the accused in a string of bombings, including the Olympic Park bombing in Atlanta. Mark Strassman has the latest on the search.
You can see 10 times as far, too.
In western North Carolina's rugged mountains, the leaves turn and fall, and another season passes without a glimpse of Eric Rudolph.
You lose the heavy foliage, it helps some.
So far, nothing has flushed out the suspected serial bomber. Not nearly a year alone on the lam. Not repeated publicity. not $1 million bounty for his capture.
The case will not be closed. We're not going to stand down.
Rudolph's suspected bombing spree began at Atlanta's Olympics. One woman was killed, dozens hurt. Other targets in Atlanta, a women's clinic and a lesbian nightclub. And in Birmingham, the bombing of another women's clinic killed an off-duty police officer and maimed a nurse who worked there. Unless Rudolph is caught, there's fear he'll strike again.
He has nothing to lose, so why wouldn't he blow something up really, really big that he wants to get?
Frustrating his pursuers, sympathy, and some suspect help for Rudolph, right in the search area, from townspeople who don't like the government and respect Rudolph as a desperado the law can't seem to catch.
You know, they ain't found him now, and they're probably not going to find him.
Which is why, as this search goes on and on, bombing victims find solace where they can.
Well, he can't show his face anywhere. So, in effect, he's committed himself to being in jail.
This recreationer's playground is usually deserted by now. But this year, more than 100 agents and the elusive Eric Rudolph apparently will winter here. Mark Strassman, NBC News, Atlanta.
And the search continues also for the killer of JonBenet Ramsey. It was 2 years ago tomorrow. The 6-year-old was found dead in her parents' home in Boulder, Colorado. But still, many are asking, why is it taking so long to find her killer? In September, a Boulder grand jury finally began hearing evidence twice a week. Apparently, officials don't know where to focus the investigation. Some evidence points to the Ramseys. Other evidence, like the DNA found in JonBenet's underwear, hasn't been linked to anyone in the home.
The simple fact is that not all homicide cases are subject to easy, quick, televised solutions.
Well, as you can imagine, many Boulder residents just want to put the case behind them by next Christmas. Still to come, you probably got quite a few great gifts today, but what about that sweater that doesn't fit or you just don't like it? Tips on returns on tonight's 6 on Your Side Consumer Report. Plus, Dan will be right back with our chilly weekend forecast.
What you're hearing is the sound of the Dodge year-end clearance winding down. Your final opportunity to get this lease on Dodge Durango for just $349 per month. Or to get generous cash allowances on a powerful Dodge Dakota. Or fun-to-drive Dodge Neons. Not to mention this low lease on the car once again named a Car and Driver 10 Best, Dodge Intrepid. But hurry, before time, well, you get the picture. Just see the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company introduces our new Fisherman's Platter, our special of the week. It's a boatload of hot, crispy catfish, piles of succulent shrimp, our own homemade hush puppies, home-style fries, and a large drink for only $7.88. What a value! Only $7.88 for our new Fisherman's Platter. Take it from me, you'll love it. When we called it New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company, we had to make it good.
Important notice to homeowners. Hi, Brad Levine again with Save More Builders. The U.S. Department of HUD has made it possible for you to borrow up to $25,000 for home improvement. At Save More Builders, families with low to high incomes can now make quality home improvements with no money down and small monthly payments. Finally, a HUD program for everyone. So if your home is in need of repair or just needs a facelift, let Save More Builders help. Call 837-1163 or out of town, call toll-free.
If you want to save money on your next car, discover the savings and service at Mossy Oldsmobile Pontiac.
They got me the exact car that I wanted, and they gave me the price that I needed, and the service department is great.
I came here from beautiful St. Bernard Parish to buy from Mossy because of the great salespeople and 4 years of free oil changes.
So if you want to save money on your next car,
discover the magic at Mossy. Mossy Oldsmobile Pontiac.
You're watching Channel 6 News at 5 with Michael Marsh and Melanie Sanders.
Some presents you like, some presents you don't. Shoppers generally take back 1 out of every 5 store purchases, 1 out of every 3 catalog purchases. Well, Stephanie Boswell gives us tips on returns in tonight's 6 on Your Side Consumer Report.
Doing a lot of shopping this time of year often means doing a lot of returning shortly afterwards. Consumer Reports recently studied the return policies of nearly 90 retailers, from Nordstrom's to JCPenney, including catalog companies and the Home Shopping Network. As part of the study, shoppers returned some 120 products. The products, some missing receipts, some returned late, some even used, including coffee makers, polo shirts, cordless phones, computer software, and perfume. The good news is that Consumer Reports investigators found they could return purchases more often than not.
We found that even though we tried to stretch the rules, like taking back phones without their boxes, we were able to return more than 85% of our products.
On the other hand, investigators found that some electronics retailers are getting stricter. They're imposing a 15% restocking fee on many products, including big screen TVs and computers. But investigators found that other companies go to great lengths to keep customers happy. LL Beam and Lands' End, for instance, will take back anything at any time. If you need to return something, Consumer Reports has some tips. First, save your receipt. Second, be persistent. Even without a receipt, investigators found if the first clerk didn't help you, a second clerk or the manager might. Third, don't cut off tags and don't discard packaging until you're sure you want to keep the item. Also, be polite. Courtesy can go a long way with a harried customer service rep. For 6 on Your Side, Stephanie Boswell, Channel 6 News.
Remember, if you have a consumer question or complaint, call the 6 on Your Side hotline. The National Council of Jewish Women take calls Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 until noon. 1-800-416-NEWS is the number to call. Good advice?
Always.
Okay,
especially be polite.
Yeah, that one goes a long way.
Mom always told me be polite.
Well, it's Christmas Day, and we've had some chilly weather to go along with Christmas Day. A little wet.
Yeah, except for the rain. People tell me that this is the kind of temperature they want. We had 30s on both sides of the lake this morning. You might even see a bit lower temperature tomorrow morning. Notice 39 on the South Shore, 36 on the North Shore, and low to mid-40s in the afternoon, with the present temperatures 41 at New Orleans, 37 Baton Rouge, and notice that they're not below freezing up at Monroe and Shreveport. So they're still pretty cold, but the temperatures are at least a little more moderate than what we've seen. Still a few clouds in our sky, as you can see, but you notice they're kind of clearing away from northern Louisiana. I think we'll see some sunshine tomorrow. Right now, we look outside at cloudy skies live through the city cam. At 41 at the airport, 43 at Audubon, 39 at Slidell. Humidity is 93% now. You would think, well, that means usually, Dan says, when the humidity's high, your temperature isn't going to go down much more. But we'll still go down a little bit overnight if our sky clears up a bit, as I think it will. Pressure's 30.25, inches of mercury holding steady, and north wind at 9. Now, watch what's been happening to the rain in the area. This is live Super Doppler 6000 now. You'll notice that there's rain stretching from the Mississippi Sound across Lake Borgne, St. Bernard, Plaquemine, and down through lower Lafourche and Terrebonne parishes. But let me show you how it's been moving. It is, in fact, it's kind of moving from the southwest to the northeast, but this line is moving slowly eastward. So I think this rain will be out of here, midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, leaving us with also some clearing skies, some better looking weather. A closer look, there isn't much heavy rain involved in this rain. But there is some, as we see in our close-up. See my cursor moving down. This is still live now. And close-up, we can look at the area around Lake Borgne. There you see Wacklawski. Here's Violet. This is some heavier rain here. None of this is stormy, but some heavy. The map for tomorrow shows that rain having moved to the east of us and still affecting Florida and parts of South Carolina and Georgia. There's some snow in the Great Lakes, and there's some rain up here in the Rocky Mountains. Our forecast, spotty rain this evening, temperature in the 40s. Overnight temperatures dropping down into the 30s, a little bit cooler than this morning. No, we're not going to freeze, but if on the North Shore, tender tropical plants, if you're a little worried, you might bring them in, but I don't think it's going to get cold enough to damage them. But we are looking at some cold morning weather, then right up into the 40s with sunshine tomorrow. I'm thinking sunshine tomorrow, both morning and afternoon. Maybe a few clouds, but still sunny, and that should get our temperatures up into the 50s instead of the 40s. So a bit warmer, still kind of cold in the morning, sunny. Not quite perfect, but I'll give it a 9 on the darn scale. The winds on the open water will get up, maybe 10 or 12, but not too strong. We're looking for not much in the way of wind on Sunday or Monday either. Monday it shifts to southerly. And high tides are in the evening and low tides in the morning through afternoon, morning and midday, but the range is almost zilch. So not much chance of rain over the weekend, better looking skies, milder temperatures, a little bit of a chance of rain Monday.
A little warm up.
Yeah, a little bit. Compared to what we've had, almost anything would be.
We've been pretty cold lately. All right, thanks, Dan. Coming up, who will win this year's Sugar Bowl? Stan Brett says he knows. Plus, 2 LSU players make their presence felt at the Blue-Gray game. Sports is next.
The Gertrude Gardner Real Estate Digest is moving on up to WDSU Channel 6 starting Sunday, January 3rd at 10:30 a.m. Welcome to our new home.
It's Macy's Store.
Sunday mornings at 10:30 right here on Channel 6. The 6 Cyber Survey, exclusively on WDSU.com. Internet services provided by VERIO, the new world of business, and Louisiana's first, Channel 6.
We'll have more local news in just 30 minutes. The news continues now with NBC Nightly News. But first, we leave you with a listen to the New Orleans Blend, a group of strolling carolers who were part of Christmas New Orleans style in the French Quarter today. Have a Merry Christmas.
Good King Wenceslas looked down on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the cross was cruel, when the poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. Hither, page, and stand by me, if thou know'st it telling, yonder peasant, who is he, where and what is dwelling? Sire, he lives a goodly Kent, underneath a mountain, right against the forest fence, by St. Agnes' fountain. Bring me flesh and sexy trod, where the snow lay tinted,